town. And while he was giving Ken a piece of his mind, Ken raises his gun and shoots the 70-year-old man in his neck. Bo Bowenkamp somehow survives the shooting, and Ken is arrested and charged with second-degree assault. In June of the following year, Ken was finally convicted and sentenced to 2 years in prison. But he knew how to play the system. He immediately appeals and pays his bail so he can be released while waiting for the new trial. When the news spreads that Ken is walking free again, the town shudders in fear and wonders what will happen now. It doesn't take long for McElroy to start causing trouble again. Immediately after his post-trial hearing, Ken drives to the D&G Tavern with an M1 Garand and loudly begins going into graphic detail on what he plans to do to old Bo Bowenkamp. Some of the patrons in the bar grow worried for Bo's safety, and when Ken's trial is pushed back again, a group of concerned citizens warns the sheriff of what Ken had said and asks for help figuring out what they could do to keep everyone in the town safe. While the group pleads with the sheriff for help, word gets to them that Ken and Trina had returned to town and were again at the local tavern. The sheriff thinks for a moment and tells the men that maybe they could form a neighborhood watch or something. The townspeople are shocked and enraged at how little their sheriff seems to care about them or doing his job. But at that moment, the sheriff picks up his hat and tells them he'll be going out of town for a few days. He casually walks out the door, directly into his cruiser, and drives off. The townspeople watch their sheriff's patrol car vanish into the distance, and with the law in the town gone, they look at each other and nod. Together, they walk to the tavern, and soon, nearly every man in Skidmore is surrounding Ken McElroy. The air is thick with tension, and they not so politely tell him that he should leave. Ken gets the hint and buys a six-pack and heads for the door. He and Trina are followed by the seething mob, who surround the vehicle. Ken starts the engine and lights a cigarette when suddenly his window shatters and bullets begin flying into the cab. Trina screams as Ken jams his foot on the gas, but he's struck by 2 bullets and slumps in his seat. Frantic, Trina stumbles out of the truck and is grabbed by a man who rushes her away to safety. The gunfire stops as abruptly as it began, and within minutes, the streets are completely empty. Nobody calls for an ambulance, and Ken McElroy dies from his wounds with his foot still heavy on the gas pedal. When authorities come to investigate the scene, they find casings from 2 different guns showing that multiple people had fired at him. The police interviewed the 46 suspected witnesses to the crime, but every single one of them denies seeing anything. Trina accuses a local man, saying she saw him pointing his gun at them. But when the police question him, he denies being there, and his story is backed up by everyone in town. In the end, no one is arrested for the murder of Ken McElroy, and the case remains unsolved to this day.